though? Peace and love. It is your favorite leader man, Karon Joseph Riley here, and this is the Life After Wife podcast. Now, today, I am a very special guest host. And the purpose of us coming together today is to interview the proprietor and the creator of the Life After Wife podcast, my brother from another mother, my road dog since the cradle, and we will be together to the grave, my brother Glenn Dale Hytower.
Here we go. Put the Dale in there.
Yeah,
I like that.
I want to give them all up. This is all about opening up and giving them the real
Put
truth.
that Dale in there. Okay,
Yeah,
we working.
we working. Welcome to your show.
That's right.
We're here today to basically introduce you to the world as the host of your show, and it's hard to talk about yourself. So I'm honored that you asked me to come in and ask these questions. I know most of the answers on some of the the generic questions, but let's just act like the world who doesn't know anything about you and just give them a brief overview of basically who Glenn is, like at the core, like where you from, your parents, where you grew up, all those things, and just we can start there.
First of all, I would like to say I'm glad you sat down and took time out of your busy schedule to open this up on a platform and open this platform up for us. It's big. We've been working on it for a long time. We finally get into where we're ready to roll, and the stars lined up and you was here. So I appreciate you for even taking a moment out of your busy schedule and sitting down with us. So I am Glenn Hytower, also known as Tapp a lot of times outside. I have a 9-year-old son. I have a 14-year-old son, but I have a 9-year-old with my wife. Now, the podcast is what life looks like after her. And I wonder if you keep saying like, man, why you keep saying after? What's the after about? Well, January 7th, 2023, my wife, I don't like to say lost, but she lost her battle with breast cancer at 43 years old. And my goal now is to help others that's in my situation like myself, but maybe they're not as vocal or transparent or ready to be vulnerable in that space to even be able to open up enough to talk about it with just their brother, but the masses. She was very vocal. She was transparent. So right now I'm just basically an extension of what she was already laying the groundwork down for. So now I'm just making sure I keep her light shining. So Brandy, we working. We're going to continue working. We're going to continue to help people like you always wanted to do. And it's pretty much a lot of the backstory right now.
I love it, man. And salute to you for turning your pain into purpose, bro. Like, I think, damn, now I'm getting emotional. That wasn't supposed to happen. But just to say I'm proud of you for being as open and transparent, because you shining that light and you healing like this publicly gives everybody permission to do the same thing, bro. Like,
absolutely.
It's no secret that Black men in our country, we struggling with just the mental health aspect of just being able to show us being vulnerable and being in the position of, yeah, man, I'm hurt right now. I'm not Superman right now. I'm not the on top of it like I should be, because yes, something happened to me that was very, very traumatic and very life altering, right?
Absolutely.
But again, it's very brave for you to put yourself on a platform to serve others. The great Muhammad Ali always said that our service to others is our rent for our room here on earth. Mm-hmm. So I think now, brother, you are actually earning your room. And again, I commend you. I'm proud of you. But let's just keep digging into the real purpose of what we're here for, and just give the people just all the answers in the room that they need to really grow with you with this podcast and build with you on this platform. I think it's going to do an amazing thing for a lot of brothers and sisters who have suffered a loss in their life, and you can become the beacon, the guy who kind of shows them that it's okay to hurt, it's okay to cry, it's okay to not have it all figured out. Right. So let's just see if we can figure some things out, sitting down today and just chopping it up and just exploring some things, first thing I kind of want to just dig into is, man, like, we all know that our environment is everything. We're born and raised here in Detroit. So I know what the city's given me as far as how I'm built and how I'm made up, but what has your environment, what has the city done for you, and how has it made you be who you are?
Man, I don't know. The city has done so much for me as the background, and I think it's like even more so just the mental toughness, because everywhere you go in Detroit, you got to always be on point. Like, it's never a moment of not being on point in Detroit. Like, you always got to be P's and Q's. So I think that mental toughness is why I'm kind of here today with being this transparent, because it's our makeup. We've always been very, just like on guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the biggest things. I think maybe the mental toughness, just the everyday lifestyle of Detroit. It made me who I was. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, every day in Detroit is a tough day.
Yeah, it's a blue collar city. You know what I'm saying? So that's the energy that we grow up with being.
But it's
here.
beautiful too, though.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's home. It's everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between is what made us who we are. And man, I'm thankful for every trial, every tribulation. And the goal for this podcast is for one day you to be thankful for this tribulation. Absolutely. I know we're not in that moment now. We're ways away from that. But I truly believe that everything that happens to us on this journey is chosen. And I think you probably like, man, that sounds crazy. I didn't choose this. But at the end of the day, bro, I believe that on the other side of this, you're gonna be a different light, a different person, and it's gonna be a benefit to your community that you live in here in Detroit, and the people who touch you going forward. Because we both crossed over into the range of life where we got to start giving it back to the game. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, maybe not. Without this situation, maybe you never really ascend to where you really need to be to become the purposeful Glenn that you were put here to be, right?
Right.
So sometimes the fire is what creates the hardening of the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so growing up in Detroit, we understand why we're here. How would your family, how would your friends describe you? What do you think? Like, what would somebody from the outside looking in who's close, but they not you? Who would they say you are?
As now I think I'm a little more thoughtful. Pretty funny person. I like to crack jokes, like to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be the life of the party and can't be the dud of the party at the same time. You know what I mean? But I think they would, say he's a pretty decent dude, pretty stand-up guy, I'm 44, so I always say I'm 44-0. And with street problems and problems with people, I just take care of people. Hey man, I'm just always trying to have a good time. That's pretty much my go-to in life at this point, especially when you go through some of the things I went through. Being you get married, that's the goal. If that's your goal, you do it, and then instantly you almost become a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, one of my quotes to myself was, in my darkest moment, I'm not finding my purpose. You know what I mean? Like, it really took me get down to the trenches of like watching somebody just go from Brand being the life of the party to now being flat on her back, can't really walk, can't do these things. And you watch that and it kind of changes your outlook on life, and things that used to be important to you no longer important.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think, I think we've all suffered loss. I lost my mother. I didn't lose her. I gained her in another realm. Like, you haven't lost Brandy.
Right.
You gained her in a much more powerful realm, to be included in your ancestors and part of your protection on the spiritual realm. So I've always looked at death as not totally the absence of the people we love. I've always felt selfishly we miss them. We want them here. But at the end of the day, man, everybody comes here for their journey. And we should all be so lucky to be affected by the light. And Brandy was a light, man. She was a bright light like you are, man. It's like you said, man, when I met her, she was, life of the party, all the Cardi B's and all of the things. And she just was really high energy and y'all was running marathons, doing all sorts of stuff. And, like you said, and to see, this horrible disease come in and rob her of of those things to me was really the saddest thing, more so than her transitioning to the next realm. Because again, I believe our journeys never stop. I just think they change purposes and change environments. So I believe Brandy's still with you as we sit here together. You know, and in that spirit, what up, though, what up, though, B? You know, we miss you, we love you. But we know why we're here, right? We know why we're here. We're here to honor Brandy, to serve the community in a way that only you can do it right now, bro. So what was the thing that, you know, how did you meet Brandy? Like, let's go back to the beginning. Let's just take it all the way back and just, you know, let's let the people go on the journey with you through the whole process and let them just feel it. So like, when did you meet Brandy, and when did you know that she was the significant one for you in your life?
So technically, we met at the amazing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Senior High School, 3200 Lafayette, east side of Detroit. And technically, you say 1993. Paths crossed, probably just kind of, you know, walk by each other in the hallway. Nothing too much more than that. You know what I mean? So you just go through 4 years of high school. I know who she was. She probably knew who I was. And that pretty much was that. But that's where, you know, I can't say connection, but that's where we met. So then we reconnected roughly 2009 or 10 through social media, but more so just still kind of friends, you know, nothing more than that. And then the conversation started to get a little bigger and a little broader, and they became more conversation, and then became, well, let's go hang out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And she would have Brand, everybody know Brand would have game night, a house party, or any of these type of things, and she would invite me, and it was just kind of organically. One thing about us in our relationship, it wasn't an attraction of looks at first. It was more of an attraction of personalities.
On spirit.
Yeah. So her personality and my personality and our spirits just were like perfect, but we didn't know it. It took a minute to figure it out. And once we figured it out, it just never stopped. So roughly, you'll just say around 2011 is when we kind of was like, well, let's give it a shot. You know what I mean? So we gave it a shot, and yeah, it just kept going. Just kept getting broader and broader. And the funnier part about when did I know, we came down to Georgia, I think it was 2013. So shout out to Jabron Jake, our brother. He says to me not too long ago, he said, we knew Brand was the one before you knew Brand was the one. He said, when I met her, I knew that was going to be your wife. You just hadn't figured it out yet. And I was like, yeah, it was a lot of things going on that was maybe moving my vision from that. You know what I'm saying? Outsiders would probably see it, but me, it took me. We broke up one time, and that's when I figured it out. But it was before 2013. But it was just funny that Jake brought that to me. But 2012 is when I really figured out, like, all right, she the one.
Right. So that was a good segue to the question I want to ask you now. Like, so the aha moment has happened. I always like to say, when it happened the way it happened with you guys, kind of happened the same way with Terry and I, my wife. It was organic. It wasn't nothing like I didn't, you know, court her.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't purposefully trying to hunt. You know what I'm saying? It was just, we was around each other, you know what I'm saying, mingling the spirits. And it's like, I believe that everybody that comes in your life now, you've met previously in other lives, right? And we should all be so fortunate to find each other each time. And I believe that was what's happening with you guys, just like it happened with Terry and I. We found each other again, and again, you know, the tracking of the relationship and the roles we play each time we see each other in each lifetime changes. So in this iteration of life, you were the man, she was the woman, and it was a joining of the worlds. So let me ask you this: going into, like you said, you broke up once, and that kind of made you realize the value in the relationship. Right. What other trials and tribulations did you go through previously before we said, you know, I do, before you kind of really figured it out? Because you and I both know now, you know, that dating stuff is a little tricky, especially with guys like us. You know, we don't really consider it really being that sacred until it is.
Yeah. We had a lot of trials, bro. It took, like I said, it was 2012 was when I was like, okay. But at that point, I had so many like relationships that I they've changed how I looked at things, right? The goal was we both come from married parents, right? So we saw that vision. We know what that looked like every day. So of course, this is I'm gonna get married someday. But I had went through so many, failed relationships up to that point. That's why go back to what Jake said in 2013, he probably looking at it from he's about to get married next year. Jake was getting married the following year. So he's in more of a marriage state. Me, I was still kind of like, it is what it is type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Like I already had one kid that I wasn't raising in my house. She wasn't pregnant with Gabe or anything at that point in time. So the biggest loss I had at that point was my son not living with me. You know what I'm saying? So that was mostly the trials and tribulations of the early part of our relationship was me trying to battle the fact that I wasn't raising my child every day.
Right.
So that hindered our relationship for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like that was baggage I always was carrying with me. You know what I mean? So once you get through that baggage and then you say, okay, that's just going to be what it's going to be.
Right.
I can't let that control my life. Right. Because at that point in time, Chase not being here was controlling my narrative.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at that point, you have to let that go. I got this lady, she loved me, but I'm still fighting the battle of my son not being here.
Right.
So then it turns into, I got to live my life still. Right. So at that, like I said, at that point, I was 30 something years old. I'm like, marriage just might not be in the cards. But the more as it progressed, in my everyday circles, you have people that, that you see doing marriage right. Like, well, maybe it's a shot at this. You know what I'm saying? So one of her biggest contributors to our relationship is my brother Lavelle, his wife Amber. They just love each other, like really, really love each other. And they were like in our circle, like mostly a lot. You know what I'm saying? So then when you see somebody in your demographic doing it the right way, right? And that kind of just, talking to him sometime, and of course talking to my dad, talking to you, I talk to people that's married and trying to change my perspective again. And Brandy was, a really good person. You know what I'm saying? So why not give it a chance, right? Why waste a relationship on baggage you no longer have any control over? Chase mom, they move all over the country, all sorts of stuff. So it's not like I can tie her down to be like, I need you to be here with my son, blah, blah, blah. That was over with.
Right.
I got to parent him the way I parent him at this point. So I'm not about to not enjoy my life and be with my person.
Right.
For a child and a lady that's not here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was the Chase situation was the biggest thing that held us up for a long time. And once I got over that, Gabe was born. Then it changed because Gabe was here. So I got to do that every day.
Right.
He's every day. You know what I'm saying? So of course, me and her bond got even closer because now we raising this child together. You know what I'm saying?
So remind me, was Gabe here before y'all got married? Or Gabe came after y'all got married?
He was here before.
Right. I can remember. So let me ask you this now. Did you having Gabe and then your previous situation with Chase and his mother and the trials that you had with that situation, and you had got over that hurdle of like, okay, I can't live in the past. I can't live for mistakes, or I can't live for things that's out of my control. But this moment right now, I have to step up. Was that the thinking of like, okay, let me just jump off the damn bridge because I got this new shot at recreating what I wanted to create with Chase, and you just didn't want to fumble it? Was that part of the drive to do it? And how'd you do it? Like, what can you take us back to what you did to propose, and the thought process, and like, because I remember when I proposed, man, it was a real fucking moment. You know what I'm saying? I had to say, you know what, if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it now, and I gotta do it fast, because if I get hit and get a headache tomorrow, I'm gonna probably change my mind. So
yeah. Well, Gabe helped, but I think our relationship, once I let that baggage of the trauma of Chase go, then the relationship just progressed.
Right.
Then it flourished because now I'm putting most of my focus is in this relationship, right? So with that changing, of course, the growth just evolved, right? And then, the proposal is funny because I'm not a big romantic, just like you said. Well, hell, if it didn't happen today, this wasn't gonna happen, right? And I know Brand was a huge romantic, and she wanted it to be butterflies and sun rainbows and shit, and that just wasn't where I was at. But for her, I did that, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I changed what I was gonna do or how I wanted to do anything because this made her happy. It wasn't about me, right? So the funny part about the engagement is I got a ring that day. I'm like, the day I get the ring, we doing it that day. So I Googled all these things I wanted to do, had the candles and all the stuff on the floor and the balloons with the pictures and flowers all everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Brand came home. I had got off work. So Brand came home as I was preparing my event, right? So Brand walks in the house. And I'm like, oh shit, right? So she's like literally coming this way. I'm like, man, I got the ring in my pocket. Like I didn't just literally left the jewelry store. So I'm like, so I just get on my knee and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, shit, my nigga, if you let me speak, I'm trying to propose. You know, that's our humor. We talk about something like that. So I'm like, if you give me a second, I'm trying to figure out this proposal thing I was trying to do. She was like, but I was like, I'm not finished. She was like, oh no, you can finish. I'll be back and just call me when you're ready. Right. So I finished doing my decorations or whatever and took a shower, put my clothes on. I called her, I'm ready. So that was the proposal. A lot of people didn't know that story. We eventually told it, but like at first we just kind of kept it to ourselves. That's this proposal story. It's a humorous story, but it kind of is like in line with our relationship though. Right. Like it's totally on path for that relationship. Right. Because it was a comical relationship. It was a lot of maybe fumbles lightness. Or it was lightness.
It was real. You know, me being just around y'all when I was around you, it always felt light. Never felt like it was you neither one of you took it yourselves too serious. And I think that's really the best place to live. Because look, man, we all here trying to figure this out. Yeah. Nobody has the answers. Like if you out there and you think you got the answers, do not fool yourself. Like we are all figuring it out. Absolutely. Right? So don't be ashamed if you don't know the answer. And one thing I've picked up in the last few years is don't squeeze the soap. Just be, you know what I'm saying? Live in the moment. And speaking of, you mentioned change, you know, and I've seen, you know, I've known you since we were babies. So I can attest to the changes that I've seen in you as a man, as a brother, just as a friend, a father, a son, everything. I've seen a lot of changes. Would you attribute all those changes to your direct relationship to Brandy? And like you just mentioned, like she wanted the flowers and butterflies. You ain't never been about no damn flowers and butterflies. So the fact that you went outside of yourself to give her that and you was decorating and doing all that for the proposal. I mean, dude, I ain't never seen no romantic Glenn, but that was sounding like pretty romantic to me. And I think the only thing that can make a man change is the woman he's supposed to be with and the love that she infuses in him that gives him the courage to open his heart and be that vulnerable. And I think that was the biggest thing that she brought to your life was that change. You know what I'm saying? We mentioned it earlier in the interview about how Detroit raises us to always be on our toes, always be on the head on the swivel. I think Brandy, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you were with Brandy, your head didn't have to be on the swivel no more because she always had your back.
100%.
Right?
Absolutely.
So explain the change. Like, explain that dynamic and when you really realize, like, dude, this woman that messed around here and made me become a whole different man, and I ain't even realize, because you don't realize until you realize it, right? Because it's happened to me too. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So break that down for us if you can, in the ways you can.
Well, I think it's little stuff. She loved me, right. So she didn't love, oh, you got on that outfit, or you got this on, or you got a nice haircut, all these things. She loved the person, right? It's little things like, I would go get a haircut maybe every Friday. And then maybe if I felt like I might go get a lineup on Tuesday just to keep myself kind of crispy. But it'd be days I'll be, oh man, I just don't feel like going to the barbershop. She's like, you look perfectly fine. I don't know what you're in a rush to do all that for. Like, it was like things like that I'm like, man, she just really loved me. I mean, and, it's just, she was such a loving person that I loved her 100%, but her love, like, it's funny, like, man, I remember she almost wanted to argue with this lady one night. We was at this little dating thing. We had, me planning stuff, my romantic kicking in. I was like, I'm going to New Orleans Saturday for the football game. So I got to do a nice date for her before I leave. So I had found this date at the Science Center. So we was at the Science Center. You walk through the Science Center. Then after Glow was at the DIA. So we do the Science Center. We hang out. We go to DIA, and one of her friends came, and they kind of ruined it because they weren't supposed to be there. But whatever. They popped up and they pulled up. Yeah,
started to see a theme with these plans of yours.
Yeah. They pulled up. We had a good time, whatever. But they were newly married, and the guy asked the lady something about marriage, or how did you stay in a marriage so long, and all these other things. And so the lady just wanted to. Then she became like Steve Harvey, Dr. Ruth. Like now she's telling everybody about themselves. I didn't ask for that information, neither did Brand. But when she walked over, she was like, "Oh, I can tell he loved you way more than you love him." She was hot. Oh, she didn't like that. As much as I've been through, I'm like, see, I ain't had nothing to do with that. But it was just like the love that I felt with her. I never really felt it from nobody else. Not saying other people didn't love me. I knew she genuinely loved me.
Right.
So when somebody genuinely loves you and you see them breaking their back, not even just like, normal, oh, we made dinner or we did this, like just being a total support system.
Right.
Like at all times. Like, it's things like just get it done type of things. Like going back to Chase, he was, him and his mom was into it when he was like 9 or 10. And they called my phone all day that day. I'm at work. I'm like, man, they just keep calling my phone. So I get home, I tell Brand about it. Before I could, she was like, you need to go down there. I'm like, She was like, no, if she's calling you that much and you heard some of the interactions, you probably need to go. And before I could get my shoes off to get in the house really good, she's already pulled up flights. She's like, I'm about to pay for the flight. Here's your hotel. You go down there and take care of that for that lady with that child. So it's like stuff like that. Like now on the other end, that lady don't give a damn about Brand. You know what I'm saying? But Brand don't care about that. She knew that Chase mom needed some help. Right. And you not there every day to raise him. Right. And from what you're telling me, it sounds like a man needs to help out in this situation. Like I said, she bought my flight, booked my room, did all the stuff. It's like, so that's not normal activity. Most women don't give a damn about what your son's mom is going through. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Right. Right. That wasn't Brand's energy though.
I love it. Yeah. I love it, man.
Yeah.
So, okay. So everything is seeming like it's going, you finding your stride as a newlywed husband. You know what I'm saying? You didn't kind of feel like you're locked in on this romantic tap.
Yeah, I'm
you know what I'm saying? Despite the plans seem to always have a monkey wrench. It's like you damn Batman around here and the penguin keeps showing up.
Some plans are good though.
Yeah.
Some of them work.
But again, I guess I'm getting to the biggest monkey wrench in the plan that came along was the diagnosis of the cancer that eventually, there's a reason why we're here. But can you just, take us through the roller coaster of, man, we up here and all of a sudden, I go to the doctor and now everything has changed. Like what was that feeling like? Cause I remember you calling me with it and I remember my thoughts, but like, I never really, got into like, what did it really feel like? Cause I mean, dude, it's one thing to have the damn floor pulled from under you. And then there's another thing. Yeah. And I feel like this was something totally bigger than that, right?
Yeah. So the diagnosis ironically came the year after COVID. So we all know what COVID was, pandemic. Everybody's locked in the house. You're trying to stay safe from that. So August of 21, she gets diagnosed. But prior to that, so just say COVID year, it was hard to get doctor's appointments. It was hard to get in a doctor review. And so she missed her 2020 mammogram, right? So that was a conversation me and her had. I don't know how much weight to add on if she'd have win 2020 to be able to catch it earlier. It was God's plan, so we don't know. You know what I mean? So, but we had went to Dominican Republic in July of 21, and she was just getting a little more tired than normal. She was, dang, my legs is kind of restless, kind of tired. Like it was one night we were out for dinner we went with a group. So we were out for dinner and she was like, I'm going to just take it in tonight. And it was early. And Brand like to party all night. So it was like 8:00. She was like, and I'm like, well, you want me to come back? She's like, no, I should boys just go hang out and I'm just going to go to the room. So then she was complaining about restless legs and certain stuff. So when we got back from DR, she was like, I'm going to the doctor. Go to the doctor. They do the the first mammogram was on a Friday, and they rushed her in on Monday for an emergency second one, right? So Wednesday we had a biopsy. About Thursday or Friday, they had told us it was cancer. Like it all happened so quick. Like within a week, we knew what we were up against. So then, it's the normal lines of cancer treatment. You do chemo, you're gonna do radiation, you're gonna do baby and C. And that was the game plan at first. So then after maybe 2 weeks of her going in, she had to do the scans. She hated scans. That was her worst days, with some scan days where she had to keep going in and out of MRI machines all day. And she had scan day, and it came back that it had metastasized. Right? So now it changes to metastatic breast cancer because it's moved into other parts of her body. But that's what I'm saying. Like, who knows if the 2020 mammogram would have changed the dynamic of it, because it was moving so rapidly, so fast, So they changed the course of her treatment. It went from, they had her on, they gave her a lot of different things. She had some cancer pills. She had these type of things. And by the time she didn't start doing like what they consider chemo until almost 2 months before she passed away, theoretically, right? Because she went through, Brand's hair was down here. She didn't lose her hair until December. She passed in January, you know what I mean? So it was, it had moved to her skull bone, her leg bones, and spine bone. And just everything went kind of quick. We went for crazy. I was just talking to Mom about it yesterday. We went for that second opinion. And sometimes when people say stuff, you have to listen. And like, this is a moment that I, like today, I still think about it. He was giving us the game plan. Like, he gave us, like, this might not go the way I wanted to go. Like, we went to U of M, we went to Michigan to get the thing. Brand was, she was upset. I mean, of course you're upset. You don't want this cancer in your body. You dealing with it, right? So yeah, you're going to be upset. She didn't like his bedside manner, but he was being very direct, right? And he was telling her, in the next 2 to 5 years, y'all might need to get y'all plans together. I remember him saying that. Like, that's the thing that stuck out to me the most. And then you look up, not even a year and a half later, she passed away. So who knows what could have treated, or what would have changed, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it seemed like it was inevitable to go the way it went. But, that was pretty much the battle of it. The beginning of it was, you go in for the 2 mammograms, a biopsy, then you get diagnosed within a week.
Right. So I know, ideally, when you say I do, you get married. And they say, for better or worse, sickness and health, all of the mumbo jumbo that you sit up there and you hear, and your mind, you sitting there, it's all good, right?
Yeah.
So when this happened, like, did this like really shake your faith to the core? Or how did your faith and how did your wherewithal come through on this, man? Because I was kind of not with you, but I was, we talked a lot, and I tried to give you as much space or be there as much as you needed me to be, however you needed it. But just kind of give them how, what really kind of kept you in perseverance mode going through this, because I was around you when it was happening, and as her health was deteriorating. Like, what were some of the things, the markers that kept you kind of, head forward and just kind of moving forward and just holding that weight?
Honestly, I'm gonna say she did.
Man.
Honestly, it was her. Because if it was me, you know me, I'm a crybaby. Life is over with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm quick to say some shit is over. Like, this is a wrap. Man, like, it was the way she was moving.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like, I tell people all the time, the year 2022 was the best year of our relationship, the last 12 months. It was rocky. It took us a moment to figure, it took me a moment to figure it out. Brand, a real one. Like, the conversation we had that kind of changed me was we had sold a house in the 20. We were renting this condo, and we were, of course, in that year looking to buy another house. We were going to do new build. So new builds are a little more, but we were in a good space to do that. You know what I mean? So we were looking, hey, we going to get the bells and whistles, new build, everything we want. And once she got diagnosed, we ended up buying still a very nice house, but it wasn't brand new. So we had to get back into the housing market. And she got diagnosed in August. So September, October, November, December, I'm just miserable. Like I'm miserable. I'm a miserable person to be around. Like nobody really wanted to be around me because it's like we were having a good time, and I'm just sad about like this don't make no sense. I'm miserable, frustrated, and she's the one battling though, right?
Right.
And so a conversation was had. We closed on this house, signed the paperwork in December, and month of December was just bad. It was just rough. So by January, we were supposed to move into this house February 1st, which is her birthday. The conversation was, she looked at me, we sat down. We had been into it, they tell you when somebody's battling these diseases, you're not supposed to stress them out. So I'm trying to be quiet, but just my normal instincts or reactions I just react. You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't good for her though, and I had to figure it out. And she gave me the game. She sat me down. She said, "Look, I love you. You know I love you. I love you to death. But I can't do this with you this way. So either you figure it out, or you and the boys can go move in that house. I'll go rent me an apartment and die by myself." So when somebody is battling, but they still have enough, because that took a lot of courage and strength to say something like that, right? It's a very powerful statement to even be battling something that that can take you out of here, right? But even with hers being stage 4, and where they were saying it was all but uncurable, because that was a lot of lingo we got, she knew what was going to take her out of here, right? So for her to even be open enough to say that while battling that was so strong for me that I was like, okay, 2 or 3 days I processed and let me get my shit together. Like if she can say that, I don't have cancer in my body. I'm not fighting. I'm not hurting. My bones don't hurt. I can walk. I'm still working out. I'm doing the things I want to do. And she can't do that no more. And for her to be able to verbalize that was so strong for me that everything that I react to, I just stopped reacting. Everything that normally would irritate me, I didn't let it irritate me. Best year of the relationship wasn't anything to argue about because we weren't arguing about nothing no more. Like stuff that normally piss her off or piss me off, we'd be like, I saw it, you saw it, I know you saw it, but let's just walk away from it, right?
Right.
So, yeah, man, we did a lot of great stuff that last year. Went to concerts. Out of town, we came and did the family reunion with everybody in Galveston. I mean, it was like we had a great time in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all took care of her while we was down there. Hell, y'all was pushing her around the little wheelchair thing they gave us at the park, at the water park. We all went in and got the nice cabana so she could be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? As a family, like the family kicked in when we needed to. Of course, who wants to pay for this cabana that we barely gonna sit in? But she needed somewhere to be posted up. So we did what we had to do. She loved that trip. We had a great time. I got a picture from that I look at a lot. It's an eerie picture for me, but it's a real picture. So we were taking pictures that last day, that day that we had the party at Jake's house. Her and Auntie Mildred are sitting next to each other. And those are the 2 people we lost. So I kind of just look at it and I always just be like, anytime something like happens, I'm like, it's just, life is so much bigger. Like I look at that picture and these 2 people are gone. I'm still here. So I always look at it like it could be worse. You could be gone. Like we got a person that's 43 that passed, and we got one that was 90 that passed, and they're sitting next to each other.
Right. 2 different worlds, 2 different perspectives. But again, I can totally, man, shout out to Brandy, man.
Yeah.
For just being that strong, man. I'm learning this right now, man. It's fucking me up.
Yeah. It was a tough moment, bro.
Yeah, man. because it takes me back to my mother.
Yeah.
Who transitioned because of sickle cell.
Right.
And she was the same way, man. Like, she didn't want nobody to be messed up about it, right? She was so strong, and I think, that's why this podcast is so good for people who've lost people in this situation, these kind of situations, things out of your control. But listen to Brandy's story, man, and hearing how strong she was, man, and what she did for you, and now you coming through this and you gonna get through this, like, and the lessons you learning about being present in the now, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's the gift that my mother gave me in life in general, because again, I lived with my mother having sickle cell my whole life. Right. So every day is the shoe gonna drop today.
Right.
And we did that for 60 something years of her life.
Absolutely. And
it really taught me how to stay in the moment. Like, today's a good day, right? So we gonna live today.
Absolutely.
And I'm hearing you, like, and I'm from these stories, I'm watching you learn that lesson through the fire, right? So, like, let me ask you this.
Before you hold on. And another funny thing about that, the parallels that you mentioned, your mom, and you mentioned Brand, right? Mm-hmm. One of the Auntie Ann, that was my mother. Just like Bev is my mom, Auntie Ann was my mother. Everybody knows how much I love Auntie Ann. Everybody know how influential Auntie Ann was to me. English teacher, I used to take her my papers. She would put red marks all over. I'm in the third grade, be red. You're going to rewrite it. You're going to do it the right way. You're going to sit there and type it on the computer. All sorts of stuff. It's like lessons that constantly are with me from her, just little stuff. But the parallel is, I called Brand Auntie Ann because they were a lot alike.
Yeah, I can see that. Now I'm listening.
Yeah. So it's a lot of spaces where I'd be like, okay, Auntie Ann. and it was crazy for me because I'd just be like, man, you're just so much like my aunt. I wish you would have met her. And the year she transitioned was the year me and Brand started dating, 2011.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy when you say the strength, and you know the strength because that was your mom. You was there every day. I was there every day, but I wasn't in that space with you every day. Like, it was deeper. That was a bigger connection. Still your mom. So the connection.
Yeah, no, it was, no doubt. But the same, like you said, like your mom's my mom in the day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I get it. So now that we've figured out the newness of our new regular, right? Mm-hmm. First question I'm gonna ask you is layered. Is looking back now, do you have any regrets with any part of this journey with Brandy at all? Like, is there anything that you feel like you could have did better, or do you feel like it all happened in its purpose and it all happened in this time, or you're not there yet?
That is a very layered question. It's a question I've asked my therapist. It's a question because they tell you you're not supposed to question, right? Like when somebody passes away, that's one of the big things. But I don't believe it.
Well, I don't know who says that, but I don't know if that's a.
Well, you know what they say.
I think you definitely it's human to question.
Yeah, especially the age and how fast.
Yeah.
and the vibration, and this lady had worked from the mailroom and self-taught herself, and now she's a director.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No college degree, plenty of certifications, but she finally got to one of her goals, because her next goal was to be a VP of whatever company she went to after that.
Right.
So you become a director. She ended up getting a job at Aspen Dental, and it was learning development department, and she reorganized the whole department. They brought her in specifically to start the department over. You know what I'm saying? So she reached her purpose. And then again, conversations we had, she's like, fuck, I finally get one of my big goals done, and here I am, fucking got cancer. I'm sick, right? Mm-hmm. So, yes, that's a layered question because the questions I ask, and I don't know if it's a proper question, but it's like, was I her path of fixing something or was this God's plan for her to be instrumental in my life to help me be a better person. You know what I'm saying? I know she did it for other people, but like, was this the purpose? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, who knows, right? Because like, again, I'm not the same person I was.
Right.
Like, it's impossible to be the same person, especially if you care for a person.
Right.
Brandon is big on statistics. She give you stats about everything. She's like, it's okay if you want to leave. She's like, you know what I mean? Men leave while a woman had breast cancer. She's like, you won't be the first one. You won't be the first man to be like, it's too much for me, I'm out. Right. And I'm like, I ain't built like that though. Like, I signed up for this. I love you. I'm gonna take care of you. So yeah, it's a very layered question, and it's still a lot of open ends, right? And I still haven't figured them out, haven't closed them, haven't connected them yet. So I done forgot a damn question too.
Do you have any regrets? Any regrets? Obviously, you getting there. You in there?
Yeah. Do I have? No, I don't have any regrets.
Good.
No regrets.
That's good.
No regrets.
So with that, moving forward, because again, life is about moving forward. Life is about, keeping pedaling. You got to keep pedaling, bro. Like, no matter how hard the ride get, you can't get off that bike until you decide to get off that bike, right?
Absolutely.
So with you still on your bike, you still riding through this life of yours. What do you think about, will you love again? Will you introduce the new version that was basically molded in the fires of probably maybe the love of your life? They say if you're lucky, you get one. If you super lucky, you get two. And if you just blessed beyond measure, you get three.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think you'll be able to move forward with another spirit and take the lessons and the things that Brandy basically gave you, right? She gave you a beautiful gift of understanding life on a level that I believe is going to carry you further than anything, and it's going to make you so much doper than you probably would ever thought you was going to be. But do you think you'll share that again with somebody else, and will you carry these lessons in it?
So of course, when you're in those spaces, you think about things like that. And I've had moments where, what would Brand want me to do, right? I don't think she would want me to be by myself for the rest of my life, right?
I don't think so.
So then you have that. And then I have a thought of, I hate that the person that's going to, whoever's the next person, right, is going to get a better version than she got of me. Like, I'm going to be a totally different human being. You know what I'm saying? And the person Brand struggled with for a little while, and I finally was figuring it out, and then she passes away, right? So, I mean, yeah, I'm 44 years old, so I'm still a pretty young person, so it's, it's inevitable. It's going to happen again. It's nothing to happen yet, it's just kind of meet people, you haven't really dated or anything like that, just kind of seeing how it goes. But I mean, I've talked to some men that have lost their wives and other things, and they all kind of say, yeah, it'll happen again. It won't happen. It'll happen when it's on your time or your path or whatever. But, they all tell me, like, she don't want you by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, it eventually happened. And I mean, we're talking almost like a year and a half since she passed, so I'm open to it a little more now. You go outside a little bit, hang out, you meet people, whatever. So, and it's still a struggle though, you know what I'm saying? Because still, like, even we were talking about the other day, just over breakfast, and I was saying, I think Tone said, and I said, yeah, I still call her my wife.
Yeah, she's gonna be your wife forever.
Yeah, right. That's what Tone told me. Like, he's always gonna be your wife. Like, I'm like, yeah, because she wasn't like we got divorced, not like her no more. Right. That's my ex-wife. No, this is still a person I cared about when she passed away.
Right. So. And even when you say ex-wife, is still at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, eventually it'll happen.
Yeah.
I'm open to it, So.
That's good. I mean, because, we didn't really talk about, the real blessing of y'all union, which is my nephew Gabe.
Yeah. Shout out to baby Gabe.
Right. How do you navigate? I mean, he's 9. To me, it's a blessing and a curse from being young, right? Because we know children are very resilient.
Absolutely.
Of course, the village is gonna circle up, and everybody gonna do what they can to replace that energy that's lost. But like, how do you, being his dad and his protector, basically, how do you, are you, I and just to, you talked about mental health, like therapy. I know are you doing therapy now to help you fill in some of the dark spots that you can't see, some of your blind spots in this situation? Because again, we mentioned earlier, we don't know all the answers.
Right.
I think you doing the therapy is key, but is that what is you using to help you fill in the gaps for, because when you have two parents, what you don't know, they might know.
Right.
And vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just literally you.
Right.
And in the past, you could have said, hey, babe, Gabe is X, Y, and Z, and what do you think? And she could give you, oh, that's my baby, A, B, C. Moms always know damn near all the answers when it comes to their children. So just, how are you navigating that, bro? You really literally woke up one day and now you got to be both people in a way.
Yeah. That's been tough, right? It's tough because it's moments as the father, you're supposed to be, the big thing in the father. Oh, when your daddy get home, he gonna beat your ass, or you gonna get in trouble when daddy get home. He gonna take care of it, right? So, not saying, because I've never gave any of my kids a whooping. It don't make sense to me. So, but in the sense of it, now I have to be the soft parent and the hard parent at once, right? So, to your point, it was one day he was just bugging, and I'm like, bro, like, you gotta chill. Like, what are you on? And then the next step, he's upset, right? So now I have to be the soft parent. I'm like, man, get your ass in the car and go Dairy Queen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
yeah.
I have to be both.
Yeah, the
right?
duality is real now.
Yeah. On both of us, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm parenting. She was a little more carefree in her parenting than me, so I have to parent like that. You know what I'm saying? But not as, still just a little strict. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna line you up the way it's supposed to be aligned, but she was good at being a mom. You know what I'm saying? She loved her kids, both her boys. You know what I'm saying? She even loved mine as it was hers, like we do. You know what I mean? So, him being as resilient as he is has made it a little easier, right? If he was every day crying, or you get out the bed and you walk, he's on the floor in the middle hallway, just upset. He hasn't done any of those type of things since she's passed, right? I'll even go into a story of him just being resilient from day one. Like, we didn't share with him his mom had cancer. It was something he was 7 when she got diagnosed. We just didn't think it was a good time to tell him. And he was 8 when she passed, but he knew the difference, because on the weekends I work, or, him and Brand up at 8 a.m, Pancake House, where they here, they doing this. They're bouncing around. They at the movies. They went to the park. They did all this by the time I came home. Well, he's noticing on Saturdays now, Dad's doing a little more of that, and Mom's kind of laying in the bed. So kids, they're smart. They pick up on those things. Mm-hmm. And he picked up on it, but really he just said mommy's just a little more tired nowadays. That's how he kind of, in his brain, worked it out. And you go back to therapy. Shout out to my therapist. When Brand got in trouble at the hospital, I called the therapist. I said, yo, Brand in trouble. It's not looking that good. This is a Friday when I'm having this conversation. I said, what am I supposed to tell Gabe? I don't have a clue. And again, this is like, we're texting, and she's like, you mind if I come to the hospital? I'm like, yeah. And she knew me and Brand. She knew us both. So she comes to the hospital. She gives me the game plan. Like, I didn't have a clue what to do. And I followed what she said verbatim. Got home, me, Mom, Dad, Britt. We go in the bedroom, we get Gabe. Hey, man, Mommy not looking too good. And eventually she passes away. Do you want to go to the hospital and see her? He says no. I said, okay, that was Friday. Saturday morning, she passes. Same game plan. Go to the house. Hey, man, Mom, unfortunately, Mommy passed away. He cries for a second. Nothing dramatic, nothing too crazy. I'm like, do you want to go see her? He's like, yeah. I'm not expecting that, because I'm expecting the same vibe from Friday night, right? So everybody that was at the hospital, I said, look, before I left, I said, if I bring him back up here, nobody talks to him. We on a mission. Like I'm not playing no games. He's got to go do this. Like I don't want, hey Gabe, give me a hug, none of that. Y'all see him, just let him go. I got to get him to his room with his mom. He can see his mom. That's it. Like I need y'all to stay out the way. So everybody kind of followed my rule. They stayed out the way. They saw him. We go in and I mean, she's laying there. I asked the nurses, can y'all clean her up a little bit for me when I bring him back? And you know, nurses and doctors, this was the oncology wing. So they used to, you know, some of the patients passing away and all this other things, right? But when I say he had like nurses, like I kind of just turned around and they were just all like in awe, but you just see tears and they kind of like, man, you know, like I've never seen no kid. He just came in, he's like, Mom, I'm gonna do everything we talked about. I'm gonna be that person. I'm gonna be the good person. I'm gonna build my dealership. I'm gonna be good at basketball. I'm gonna design my cars. Every conversation he had with his mom, he talked to her about it on the table. She was laying on that bed, and I was, you know, I'm standing there, and I'm like, man, this is, again, you talk about the resilience, right? And it's like, I'm 44, my mom's still here. I don't know if I'd have been able to do that. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at him, I'm like, God, this dude. So he's been so resilient since day one. I'm not gonna say he make it easier, but he does make it easier because I don't have to go through the constant emotions. And he's so in tune with his own feelings, especially as a little person, that he knows how to kind of navigate. Like it's days he'll come home and say, I'm like, how was school today? You know, Gabe, full of energy, vibrant. And I can tell, like, yeah, have a good day today. I'm like, well, he's like, well, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to make you sad. Like he's
kind of like he taking care of you.
Yeah, no different than his mom. They both protect me. Like her friends told me even up to the day she took her last breath, she was still worried about me. Like no matter if she knew she was passing that day, her whole end game was, he's got to be okay. Like, is he okay? And I'm like, and I would tell her something like, Brand, like, you got to worry about you. Like, you can't worry about me. I'm going to be okay. And she, you know, like me and her didn't have the after what it looked like conversation. Like she wrote, and I mean, again, like this, I tell you, she's something different. She wrote both her kids letters. They both have letters of if mommy passes away. Logan has his. He was 18. He was old enough for it. Gabe, I still got Gabe. So I haven't gave it to him yet.
Have you read it?
Yeah, I read both of them. I mean, it's no different than what she preached and talked about every day. You know, be good people.
I love it.
Finish your goals. Be nice. Mommy loves you. You know, you're going to be awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I could talk about that last year and conversations I had with her for like one of the things that she was like, I just want to see Gabe as an adult. And I'm like, man, you know, that kind of sucks because that was like a month before she passed. And I think she just, again, I don't know, again, me and her didn't have those after death conversations or anything, but did she know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because she's like, she cried like a baby that day. And she's like, I just want to see him as an adult. I want to see grown man Gabe. I'm like, you're going to see it, Brand. You're going to see it. And she's like, okay. So, yeah. Shout out to baby Gabe for being resilient as you are.
Yeah, man. You special, nephew. You real special.
Yeah.
Just changing gears, man. Wow. Okay. Shout out to your therapist. Shout out to you for doing the mental health and having a therapist. And again, this is what this is for. For whoever watches this every week when you're doing them, and however frequent you put these podcasts up, they are not alone anymore, and they start to really see that we all lose people. We all have to know how to pivot. We all have to be willing to change and be willing to flow with life and how it hits us. And I don't care how blessed you are, how good things going, man, it can change on a dime. So I tell people all the time, I tell you out there now, always stay in the moment. Be very grateful. Start your day with grateful, end your day with grateful. And it feels like when you do that, everything in the middle takes care of itself. I can tell sitting here with you that you're grateful for Brandy, the time you did get, I'm grateful for Brandy now. I didn't even I mean, I'm probably more messed up in the dang interview than the interviewee right now. But I think that's the message, bro. I think that's the message.
Every day I wake up, I say I'm grateful.
Ashe, as you should.
Heavy on gratitude right now.
Got to stay there because at the end of the day, what did you say numerous times? I don't have cancer in my body.
I don't. I
can get up. I can do my thing. We're still here. We're still pedaling. We're still doing the things necessary to live life. So I'm thankful that I'm here. I'm thankful that you're here. I'm thankful to Gabe. I'm thankful for all of it. I'm thankful for this opportunity to do this with you today. Thank you.
I appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate it. I feel like we've been close our whole life. I think we just unlocked a new level of closeness. I didn't think we could get no closer than we were. But I think we unlocked another level of this, right? So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, man. I think this has been a great first opening show for your podcast. I think it's gonna be an amazing journey. I'm looking forward to watching you help heal the world with your love for your wife. And her example. I think now you're going to use the energy she gave you to do what she did for you, for so many others, bro. And I think that is the gift, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Our social tags. Sorry.
Yeah, you do the social tags because I don't know if I need to get those in the cue cards.
Yeah. Shout out to B, producer 313B. Facebook is G Tapp Hytower, 2 P's on the Tapp. Hytower is Hytower. So you can find me on Instagram the same way. I think TikTok's the same way. YouTube is just Glenn Hytower. Links in all bio. So you hit the Instagram link or you hit the Facebook link, you'll be able to find everything on the links. This is Karon Joseph Riley on everything that I know of. So again, that's Instagram, Facebook, Karon Joseph Riley. Man, this was a tremendous episode. It felt like very therapeutic for me.
Yeah, I think I might need to talk to my therapist after this, but I'm thankful for, again, like I said, I'm thankful for this moment, bro. I'm just, I love you.
I love you too.
And this has been another episode of Life After Wife, and I am your special, very, very special guest host, Karon Joseph Riley, and this is
your main guy tapping. I'm tapping out,
and we both tapping out. Peace and love. Keep pedaling, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Turn this shit off before I fucking.